Hello, it's me again. One of those not important videos. Let's start with that right off the bat. Probably not going to publish it, but you never know. I'll just, maybe. So, we're doing that taking the animal to the vet thing again. Yay. Hold on. So, yeah, so it's Isabel's turn to get her fixing. I'm just gonna ramble. I might say something important, might not. So that's why I'm labeling this non-important. Really should learn how to edit these things though. And that way I could cut out a lot of this extra time, because I know people are like, well, it wouldn't be so bad to watch her videos if they weren't like 30-40 minutes long of her going, yeah, about that. It wouldn't be so bad. For the times that she actually says something worth listening to, it wouldn't be so bad. She does a lot of rambling though. So anyway, well, this is definitely a rambling video. Because, yeah. I hear you, babe. That's one of the reasons I'm talking, is just to let you know you can come on up here. Again, it's one of those things where I could sit here and say, it's okay, sweetheart, I'm right here for you 50,000 times, or I could just talk. And because I never know when I'm actually going to say something worth value, you know, when it comes to the theory, I guess I got to just record it all the time. Just be recording myself all the time. I have to... again, I really need to learn how to edit, because I have audio of me. I'm just in the kitchen washing dishes, making dinner, and you should hear me. Well, you should hear me when I'm doing that, because it just comes like the la 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 la. And why? Because the functional is not over focused on this camera in its face, so it can function correctly, so to speak. And which is one of the reasons why when we're doing things like dishes, folding clothes, these ideas just start coming to us, because your functional can function correctly. It knows enough of what it has to do, step one, step two, that it's able to just do that while your emotional side just wanders and says, what if this and what if that? And the functional side can answer, because it's not over focused. It's not like on guard because there's a camera in its face. I'm still working on getting used to this. I don't know if I'll ever get used to having the camera in my face, unless I didn't know it was there. That's the only time where it's like somewhat okay. That wasn't me. Somebody honked at somebody else because they could turn left on the green arrow and they didn't go. Anyway, so something did come to me this morning. So for starters, we're going to talk about what's called the what if, because it's important. It happens when so it's basically being controlled by both sides, I think. It's kind of tricky to explain other than that, because so first of all, the what if has the same power as the don't need to, basically, but which is functional. But just the very nature of it is questioning. It's emotional. What if? Or wait a minute, what did I? No, why should I? Not the what. Did I say the what if? I'm so sorry. My apology. Why should I? Let's clarify that. We are talking about the why should I. And that in itself is a question. But it has the power to act functionally. And I'll explain as I go along here. So basically, it's a lot like the I don't need to. But it can be questioned. It can be argued with. It can be changeable. Honestly, it's the same thing a lot of people have. You know, I don't feel like getting out of bed. Why should I? Well, I have bills to pay, so I guess I got to get out of bed so I can go to work, right? A lot of people feel that way. The difference is, Well, first of all, the difference is, number one, a lot of people don't realize the difference. They don't realize this is happening to them. But the other thing is, so, like I said, it's a very common thing. It's also common even when it comes to people with depression, and one of the big reasons for that is, oh boy, this is one of the reasons I hesitate, and this is one of the reasons I'm going to put this as a not important, and that means that nobody except for people who are real tea leavers, yeah, I said it, are going to actually even be interested in watching these videos. And the reason I say that is because I'm going to say something about depression that is kind of, it's a secret and it's not a secret. And when I say this, I don't want people to think, oh, so you can control it. No. I can't speak for everybody. Everybody has their own agendas. But what I'm referring to, no, you cannot control it. It is the mind having a mind of its own, okay? That's what's controlling it. So when you look at someone and say, oh, it's mind over matter, you're not wrong. You are not wrong when you say that. It is mind over matter. You got to know what mind you're talking to, though. What part of the brain you're talking to. And that's why it works for some people and not for others. Anyway, when people, normal, healthy people will say, sorry, just wording it that way, when they say, oh, you just need to get up and try to push past it and take a walk and try to get your mind on other things, they're not wrong. They're actually not wrong, okay? But, of course, us depressed people are sitting there going, I want to punch you in the face, shut up. Or just getting even more detached and depressed. Because number one, it's depressing to feel like we're all alone and no one else understands us. Especially our friend or family member sitting here saying, oh, you'll be okay. Just get up and take a walk. Walk it off. Change your diet. All these other blah, blah, blah stuff. It's annoying. But they're not wrong. Sorry. It's a tough one because it does make it sound like it's a choice, but it's not. At least not. Again, I think I've used this reference before. You almost have to think of it like conscious versus subconscious. It's not a conscious choice. You're sitting there looking at me saying, just get up and walk it off and change your diet. And I'm going, that sounds good, but it doesn't work. It doesn't do it. And you're talking to me consciously. But what you need to be able to talk to is like the subconscious. Basically, think of it like that. It's not the same, but we'll just pretend like it is because people are more familiar with conscious and subconscious. It's the functional side. That's who you really talk to, and it doesn't do anything it doesn't need to do, including listen to anybody it doesn't need to listen to, which is why you'll see people having selective hearing. Ah, yes, that is where that comes from. It only does what it needs to. And if the more you talk, the more you overwhelm it, which is one of the reasons why when you do give direction to the functional side, you have to be kind, I don't want to say strict. You have to be very straightforward with it. It's very simple. Just like when it talks, it doesn't include a bunch of extra pronouns, adjectives, oh, la la la, nothing. Don't need to. I say I don't need to when I'm talking to the don't need to, but in all honesty, when I hear that in my brain, feel it, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't say I. It just says don't need to or don't need. It's very simple, very basic. It's very straight to the point. And that's how you have to talk to it if you want to talk to it. I'm guessing people who are doing like regressive therapy and stuff to go back to the childhood and stuff, they might kind of that might kind of sound familiar, and I'm guessing that's probably what you have to do when you do that regression therapy is keep it simple. Yep. So Anyway, so the why should I? It does affect people with depression when they are in that state where they can kind of argue with it. One of the times that you really see it a lot is like people who have depression, and you've seen this commercial, right? You have depression and you're on a depression medicine and it helps, but sometimes you just still feel stuck. Right, that commercial. That stuck feeling, that's why should I? It's not as strong as don't need to, but it's still not ready to roll with it. Okay? It's still hesitating, it's still holding back. And that's because the issue that's causing the pause in the brain to begin with, the depression, something not making sense, is still there. Hold on a second, sorry. Just making sure I'm in my right lane. Yeah, good. So the why should I is mostly, you're mostly going to see that in either normal healthy people, or you're going to see it in people who have depression but they're like on medication but they still feel stuck sometimes, or even people who have depression and they're not on medication but maybe they're having a good day, but they're still having a good day, but yet they still kind of feel stuck when it comes to some things, you know, just for whatever reason. I can do this and I can do that, but I can't do that. I can't do that. I can do the dishes, I can run the vacuum, but I can't scrub the toilet or the bathtub. Actually, those are really bad examples because nobody wants to do this anyway, no matter how bad or how good you're feeling. Oh, let me think of some better examples. I can scrub the toilet and I can scrub the bathtub. I can wash the dishes, I can run the vacuum, but I can't rake the leaves. I just can't. And maybe the reason why is because it takes you outside. Who knows? Anyway, the whole point is people, even people with depression, maybe they're having not a horrible depression day. You know, they feel down, but they're enough that they can keep moving. That's when you'll see the why should I. Otherwise, most of the time, if you're in your, you know, more stronger depression times, it's the don't need to, or even the need not. The even more stronger need not. We haven't talked about need yet. Need not yet. Need not. Let me think about it. Yeah, I can't talk about it right now. My brain's still gonna try it anyway though, so I might as well try to. Okay, so the need not, it's a stronger situation going on. It's I'm trying to think, you know how somebody will go through something traumatic like a car accident where they lost a loved one, okay, and since then they haven't been able to even get in a car. Literally, they will not go anywhere in a car. So then sometimes people will do like some kind of a therapy or something, or even just somebody might suggest to them, hey, I can pick you up and take you to that appointment instead of you having to walk there or something. And they don't just say, no, I can't do that. They're not, think about this. I want you to think about this. You will see people sometimes say, no, I can't do that. No big deal, whatevs. Or you will see people actually get emotional. It's, no. Like they start shaking their head a lot. They're backing up from you. They clearly are like, it's almost like they're afraid of the words that you just said. Okay? So that is where the brain is actually saying not just I don't need to, but it's actually saying I need not. Okay? The difference is, I feel like sigh. Okay? Okay. The difference is the don't need to. All right, this is getting a little confusing, but here we go. The don't need to can be argued with sometimes. It's very close to the why should I. Maybe I'm even getting those lines crossed in my own mind. It happens. It's okay, but it's very similar to it. So the need not is actually like an actual shutdown detachment. Don't need to is where it's detaching you. It's detaching. The need not is a shutdown. Trying to think of I mean, you know, it's like, do you need to wash your dishes that day? I mean, really should. You really should, just because of the whole keeping up with the cleanliness thing and everything. But do you actually need to? No, I guess you could skip a day. No big deal. So see how the don't need to is a little bit more on the chill side, whereas the brain will sometimes actually, and it'll even use the imagination sometimes to do this, it'll create scenarios in a person's head, like say someone's in bed with depression, right? And they're trying to psych themselves out. They're trying to work themselves up to going downstairs because they really need to clean up the kitchen. But in order to stop them sometimes, because it's not okay to just say no, remember, it's not okay to just say, no, I'm not doing that. It's just not. Our society does not accept that, and so we have been trained not to accept that as well. So our brain sometimes even has to trick us. And it will create scenarios in order to either frighten us or for us to frighten others. For example, if I sit here and I tell you the reason I can't wash my dishes is because I will burn my hands. They will burn. It's hot, boiling water. It doesn't matter even if I put it on cold. It's hot, boiling water coming out of the faucet. Well, that's not true, is it? Right? But the mind becomes convinced that it is true. And it's doing this because it is on purpose, either trying to trick you, the person, or others around us. Because if you're sitting there saying that you're, no matter what, and you're freaking out at the same time, that you're going to get burned by the water from washing dishes, even if it's on cold, and you're freaking out, people are going to back up. The people around you are going to back up and be like, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. You don't have to do your dishes. It's okay. We'll figure this out. Right? It happens. Not always, not for everybody. Some people don't have that, but the idea, I got to cover everybody in the entire world and all their different situations all at once, so I just talk. I can't be very specific with people because I have to cover everything all at once. Anyway, so it's different for everybody, of course, in that state, in that sense. But the idea is that ultimately the brain is trying to keep you in one place, not moving, not changing. Do not change. No change. And that is how it does it sometimes, is by creating what-if scenarios, even crazy out-of-the-box type, in order to keep you in bed, safe, because that is where you're safe. You've heard of the inner child. Well, there's an inner parent too, and it can become overprotective. You know, the helicopter parents. Yeah, well, your brain can do it too. And where's the safest place? Well, typically, not just home, but your bed. And the reason why is because at the reset, which is the beginning of the day, we'll say, you woke up where? In your bed. Most likely. Not everybody. Again, covering everybody in the world here. And that was where you obviously were safe for the first moment of that day. That is obviously where you were safe, because when you opened your eyes, you were in a safe place. You may not have felt good, you may have still been sad and all that other stuff, but you were in a safe place. So the mind says, that is where I need to be safe, where I was first. Number one, remember the functional, it's all about those numbers. Number one, this is where I was safe first. And that's where I will stay safe. And so the brain's, when it's operating in the manner that it must be operating in, which is very overfunctional, so very protective, very guarded, even more so than normal, that is where it's trying to keep you. It will do whatever it can to keep you there. It will tell you that you are only safe in bed. That if you try to get out of bed, you'll fall down the steps. You will fall down the steps. If you try to get out of this bed, you will fall down the steps. Even though technically you go to get out of the bed and there's a floor there. And then there's walking out the door. And then there's a hallway. And then if you head that direction, there's steps. But if you head the other direction, there's, the bathroom, somebody else's bedroom, whatever. So technically, no, if I get out of bed, I'm not going to fall down the steps. But the brain will convince you. If it has to, that's what it'll do. It'll use whatever it has to do to convince you. What was it one time? Tax. Someone said tax. I get out of my bed and my feet will hurt. Like they'll be stabbing me. Well, if you put tacks all over your floor or nails, screws, whatever, it would kind of feel like something was stabbing your foot or your feet. So then what's the brain saying again? Stay in bed. It's where you're safe. I don't know what to do. That's what it's going through. I don't know what to do. The outside world is scary because it's not making sense. And nothing makes sense. And even people who used to make sense don't make sense. And some things do make sense, but in order to get to them, you have to deal with all these things that don't make sense. Like working does make sense. And doing your job does make sense because making money makes sense. But all the things that you have to deal with along with it, just even getting dressed in the morning sometimes doesn't make sense because there's something about the body, there's something about your clothes, there's something about just every choice that you've made, which apparently has always been wrong anyway. So that doesn't make sense. And then what to eat for breakfast? Well, some people say just grab something and go, but other people say you got to eat healthy. So then I don't know. And then do I drive? Do I walk? Because it's healthier to walk, and they say it's better to you, and it'll help with your depression if you walk. And I don't know. So by the time that you've even thought about going out to go to work, you've already gone through a gazillion I don't knows. The mind is confused. It's going to keep you in bed. They don't know what to do no more. I completely understand it. And then there's all the rest of the stuff that you can imagine happening in the mind. And granted, yes, I know anybody who is on the, we'll call it normal side, healthy side, whatever, is watching this video, if they're even watching this video, and saying, okay, well, we all have to deal with that, so get over it. Yes, you're right. We all have to deal with those kinds of situations. The difference is your emotional side is working differently. Your emotional side is saying, what if? And because it has also got the positive, it's still working in the positive sense, it's, what would you call it? Are you turning, or you should have a turn signal on, honey. If you're going to turn, I don't know, you better go. Yeah. Turn signals work great. Oh my goodness. Sorry. They were in the turn lane, in the middle of the road turn lane, but they didn't have a turn signal on, and this is a busy road. Anyway. What was I saying? Yeah. So you're not imbalanced in the same way this person is. You might get imbalanced from time to time, but you have that daily bounce that resets and stuff, and you're fine. So that means your emotional side is still able to work correctly. You're able to what if. And not only are you able to what if, because they're able to what if too, but your what ifs can go to the positive. Whether they start in the negative or they start in the positive, they can move to the positive. Whereas the imbalanced person, depressed person, whatever you want to call it, theirs cannot. Just doesn't. The scales are so off balance that they just can't. It's like a weight. You know how depressed people say that they have like a weight? It's like they're being weighed down. Hey, guess what? You really are. Oh, okay. So, I'm here now. So I'm going to take her in. Be back.